Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever episode to the Point Sports Podcast. Today we will have a very special guest from Point Park University's athletics, and we will be right back. And we're back. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very special guest from Point Park University, and not just that, a student athlete. Just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Jacob Kandis, and I wrestle at Point Park University.
Hey Jake, I hope your day is going great because I know mine is. And first thing I'm going to ask is just about the season. I mean, it's over, right? You got to be a little more calm, less tense and everything. But, yeah, how's that going?
It's going great. We've been out of season for about a month now, and when we first got to college, we jumped straight into the season, so it's been go, go, go since I got here. And now that the season is wraps and I can finally enjoy college a little more. You know, everything seems a lot easier. I'm eating a lot more now, paying more attention to my schoolwork, enjoying the campus, going outside more, talking to more people. So, yeah, it's been great ever since the season's been over.
Yeah, talking about, you know, when you got here, like you were just wrestling. How did that start? Did you just as soon as you got here, just boom right on the mats, or you just?
Well, we got here and we had a 2-3 week break period just to adjust to college, get moved in, get set, learn where we're going for our classes and everything, how everything works, you know, meet some people. And September 2nd, we were on the mats 3 days a week, lifting 3 days a week, so got into it pretty quick. It was preseason,
yeah,
all the way up to October.
I'm all antsy over here. I'm very antsy over here, and I'll tell you why. This question has got me yoked up. I'm a big foodie. I love food. I gotta know what the go-to food is. I mean, you've been cutting, working hard, day to day, day in, day out. What is the thing? What is that item?
It's ice cream, specifically Dairy Queen Blizzards. My roommate got me on it towards the end of the season. He showed me some crap on Instagram talking about how they're one of the best workout recovery meals. My go-to is the Dairy Queen Blizzard. I get the mint Oreo, but switch it up sometimes. M&M sometimes.
I'm a big mint guy. I just got hooked onto it recently. I used to hate mint. I mean, throughout middle school and basically all of high school, I hated mint. And then last year or so, I tried and I was like, this isn't that bad, honestly. You know, even though, you know, it does taste like some toothpaste here and there. It's honestly
little bit
pretty
like
good.
Toothpaste, but
yeah, but honestly, it's
okay.
it's a good toothpaste taste.
Yeah.
Wendy's Thin Mint Frosty. Someone mentioned it to me earlier. I've had it. That's something beautiful. I can't get my head around it. It is.
Now, when we're talking about food, are you working this off as well, just to try to stay in shape?
Yeah, absolutely. I have my own little split right now for working out. First 3 days of the week, and then the second 3 days of the week on repeat. I hit arms and chest the first day, legs the second, and then I do back and shoulders the third day. Repeat it, and then on Saturdays I do 30 minutes to an hour of cardio. So I'm on my own little program right now, just trying to adjust back to being bigger. I'm about 175 pounds. I wrestled 157.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's a little easier with, you know, being able to have some of those foods that you really like. But more so, I know I can never wrestle because of that factor. I can never get past that whole cutting thing. And I know my brother, he struggles with it too. But I know that. How do you handle that? And what does it really take to wrestle here at Point Park?
Well, the cutting's definitely hard, but at the end of the day, you just got to realize that, or at least I think of it like I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in, and, you know, I really wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, sometimes you got to make sacrifices for the things you want, and I wanted to wrestle in college, so I'm sticking it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were talking about, you know, sticking it out, why did Point Park stick out to you compared to other colleges?
Well, to be honest, never heard of the place. Summer practices before my senior year, I came into the room, and our assistant coach, he was like, "Hey, man, so my college coach, when I wrestled at Muskingum, he just got the new head coaching job over at this place in Pittsburgh. It's a Division II school. It's brand new program. They're gonna bring in like 9 to 10 wrestlers and see what they can do." And I was like, "Yep, this is out of any of the schools I looked at, this is probably the coolest one I've seen." I've always wanted to live in the city, and after talking, I came on a visit here, and after talking to the head of the computer science department, I was like, yeah, this seems like a place I could call home.
And kind of going off of that, I mean, you said it yourself, opportunity, right? 9 to 10 guys, there's opportunity to play, get in there and work. And I guess my question kind of goes, you're in the city, right? You're seeking opportunity. What's your major, and what are you looking into there?
So my major here is applied computer science. It's honestly been the goal since first day of freshman year, whenever I started high school. When I was younger, my dad used to be the head of he was a head of a computer science department at a hospital. Oh. And I used to go and hang out with those guys. I thought they were the coolest people in the world. They got to work from home. They knew more than everybody else. They made good money. So I was like, hey, man, this looks right for me. And I was like, you know what? If I can learn it and I can figure out how to do something that most people can't, puts me ahead of the game.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't know what I was gonna do until like maybe the start of my senior year. I would be like, that's good for you for knowing that. Honestly, talking about the new coach now, if for the people watching, the Point Park head coach for men's wrestling came from a school in Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. And not just that, but he was successful in his collegiate career, being a national finalist in the Division III competition. How has that helped you as just a wrestler yourself, just growing and getting better?
Well, Meiser is a person. He's a great dude. I mean, he's good at wrestling, but he really, since there's only 9 of us on the team, he really works to make that personal connection. We come to practice, we joke around, we talk, he texts us, we all joke around, have a great time. But looking at it from a competition standpoint, that guy knows what he's talking about. He's got, I don't know, whenever he's coaching, it's like he's trying to teach us. He's got his style, and he's really, really good at it, but he's versatile. He understands the sport as a whole. When I first got to Point Park, he actually explained it to me. He said, it's like playing 2K. Like, you have these freshmen that come in, and they're like, I don't know, like 77 overalls, and he's up at like a 96 overall. So he's got mat awareness. He knows what he's doing, and it just rubs off on us. I could say by the beginning of my freshman year to now, my overall's gone up at least like 3 or 4.
Hey, I love that mentality, and I think, as a player here for baseball, if I had heard my coach said that, I'd be jumping up and down. I mean, I love that. Trying to connect with the kids who are younger, connect with their age. That's something a lot of coaches struggle to do, especially the older ones. So yeah, that's really big.
Sorry, that's my dog Rex.
No, you're all good. No, I personally love 2K. I'm a big 2K guy, even though it makes me mad. I've been on the grind lately on 2K. Honestly, I think that game's like a hit and miss, but
definitely, for sure.
Now
I'm on and off with it. It's like every other year. I get obsessed with it for a couple months. I spend a little bit too much money, and then back off whenever summer comes back around.
Now, are you a PlayStation or Xbox guy? I gotta know.
Man, I'm a PlayStation guy.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm an Xbox guy, but I was born into it, so it didn't help.
I had the PS3 when I was little, man. My dad
I did too.
put me down PS3.
It's a controller thing for me. I like the smaller controller. I got small hands. Smaller controller is great. More versatility.
and it's got shapes on it.
It's true.
Well, Jake, I just want to thank you for coming on here and telling us about Point Park, and not just Point Park's wrestling, but yourself as well. And I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you, Jake.
Yep, and we'll be right back after a couple messages. If you are doing nothing on Friday and Monday nights, Bible study at Point Park might just be for you. At 7 p.m. on Mondays and Fridays, Josh Eisenberg and Caleb Adams go ahead and bring some people who are looking to bring in the faith and just talk the word. If you're interested, go on Instagram and search up Point Park Bible Study and DM them to get more information. Now, Johnny, when we're talking about sports, of course, I mean, this is a spring season. It's one of the best seasons I look forward to, especially baseball. I mean, baseball in Pittsburgh it's a great thing. The Pirates, just beat the Cubs in a series, so I think I'm pretty ecstatic about that. What do you say yourself?
I mean, I love it. I love the Pirates. It's hard to be a fan over the last couple of years, but just got to push through it. It's one of those things. And I mean, from my perspective for baseball right now, it's getting to that kind of time of the season for really most guys, not the MLB, but us collegiate players, where your arm's starting to get a little rowdied, and you got to really push through it. It's getting to that time, but yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about baseball, Point Park, talking about the Pirates, just played a game there on Thursday, and not just that, but Point Park night. And going into Thursday, the main reason they beat California of PA is because of their bats. Their bats really helped. And when we're talking about bats, Trevor Jones knocking in 3 RBIs. I mean, that's not easy to do, especially not even just 3 RBIs, but a home run at PNC Park. I mean, not a lot of guys can say, not one, they played at PNC Park, home of the Pirates, but 2, hitting a home run there. I mean, I think that's just probably the greatest feelings you could ever have.
Yeah, I mean, so that's something you just got to put in the book so you could tell your kids about. But, the thing that you mentioned, yes, we did have big hits, but actually we struggled a lot when it came to if you look at the numbers, they actually out-hit us, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
The big thing that led us to that victory was base running. There's guys out there, and it's crazy. We over here at Point Park, we are working pickoffs like this. That's something that's fundamental, mandatory, you have to do. And you saw the success in it. I mean, back picks the first, even the second. Guys are lousy out in college. They get a hit, get on base, and they just think, that's it. But base running is such a big role. And honestly, that was
and
huge.
Not just base running, but just the picking off part, but as well as the pitchers. I mean, Coach Torres had this plan out of the whole game that there's not going to be the same pitcher for every inning. He subbed a lot of pitchers in, and it worked out. It worked out in his plan, only allowing Cal to have only 2 runs in the game, and it turned out to be an amazing plan. Now, they are coming off a double header on Friday and Saturday, winning 1 game on Friday, and nothing. We don't know as of right now how their game is going to look on Sunday. But what we do know is that the hits have to keep coming, because if they don't, then we're not going to be successful. And our pitching staff is pretty good if you've seen from the stats, wouldn't you say, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, so going back to what you said, PNC Park, I think Torres he gave a lot of good opportunities, and those guys are pretty fortunate. I mean, 1 inning apiece, so everyone gets to experience that moment is something beautiful. But also, kind of going back to what I said about base running, a big quote he has, Torres mentions all the time, is make the outs at home plate, right? That's a big deal. But on our side of it, when we had opportunity with guys on base, we strived. Yes, we didn't have as many hits, but we were patient at the plate. We established walked. We established dominance, and that's something we've been doing a lot recently. And it helps having guys like Blake and Blake Ewing and Olindo Pazan, those guys where you get on base, I'm ready to just start walking. I'm ready to start walking in the home plate because those guys are nuking the ball right now. But, it's a lot of success going on. Yeah, they have a little things to fix up and all of that, but nothing but success over here at Point Park with baseball.
Yeah, and talking about the plate, a big saying in a lot of sports and just a known thing is defenses win championships. And our defense, had some errors here and there, but it didn't kill them. And, there at the plate, there was a gun down. I'm pretty sure, if not mistaken, Chris Williams with the throw. It might have been the left fielder, but just the fact that we have arms like that, not just in right field, but in center and left, to be able to gun down and do it perfectly at home. And who knows what could have happened. That could have changed the whole game. And that clearly, honestly, it changed the game for us because our momentum snapped as soon as we did that.
Yeah. I mean, those guys out there, like, if I'm on third, I'm not taking the chance. I don't care what field it is. I mean, you see it. They were at PNC Park, right? That's a bigger ballpark in some points of it. And they established dominance once again with that. Like, they made sure those thirds were in. And I think how you also, since we played them prior, they might already know that. And I think that's a big reason why they didn't try us as many times as they should have, which they shouldn't have. I was smart. But, talking about success, right? The men's lacrosse, huh?
Yeah, snapping their losing streak. The last game they had at home against the number 17, this number 7 team in the nation, coming off a loss like that and then bouncing back against Tiffin 12-2. What do you think was the key for that?
Well, I talked to a couple of those guys prior to the game, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of them were head down. I mean, when you get whooped by a team like Seton Hill, who is just known around the league to being so great, you got to, delete that and move on to the next thing. And I know there were a couple guys who didn't, and I don't know everything on the background of it, but I do know that that team was biting for a win. They've been waiting for it. You saw it early on. They got that win, video, celebration, everything. And when you hit a losing streak like that, it's hard, especially with freshmen, right? Younger guys who they're looking for opportunity, but at the same time, once you get that opportunity, you want to succeed. And it's hard. It's hard whenever that's not happening. And I'm curious what the coaches were saying.
Yeah, especially like you said with a team of just freshmen. I mean, when you're giving the keys to a young staff, of course, it's hard to just bounce back and just go out there and win. And that's something that the Pioneers have struggled with, as we've seen. But being able to finally knock off the losing streak and have a win under their belt gives them hope, of course. And not just talking about the men, but the women coming off a loss today. What did you think about that loss? A close game against David and Elkins.
I mean, that's a team they've seen a bit now. And it's like those kind of games hurt,
matchup.
Right?
Yeah.
I know for me, whenever I'm playing a team and I'm pitching against them multiple times and I'm still dominant, it feels great, but then you realize, shoot, you might have a game where you let up a couple in the early first, second, and you're like, dang, they're on to me. That's where you got to work stuff out. And I'm starting to think maybe they got to switch plays up, change game plan, or if it's just the mentality. I'm not quite sure. Did they win last time they played them, or did they lose?
No, they lost in overtime by 1 point.
So that hurts, right? And going into this game, there were definitely. I mean, it's the same thing. It's really all freshmen. They have a couple junior transfers, right? But at the end of the day, you lose to a team, some of those freshmen might just give up. They might throw the stick down. And it's like, you got to find a way as a coach. And I was kind of going to ask you, from a captain perspective or a coach perspective, what do you think they got to do, and what do you think they have been doing? I mean...
Yeah, when you're talking about the juniors have to step up. I feel like, the Pioneers have to just, the main reason they lost this game is because of the turnovers they had. I feel like they were on the attack, and then, the younger people would just fall under the pressure. David and Elkins had a game plan, and it worked out phenomenally. Their game plan was to, close the box, and they did they did just that, and not just that, but their goalie, just being phenomenal, saving balls left and right. And I think that's what helped them as well. But the juniors have to step up and be like, guys, we have to be smart with the ball, and we have to know what we're doing. We can't, just be throwing it and hoping our teammates catch it. And just the foolish mistakes of just not knowing where your teammates are. At the game today, when on the offensive attack, when we had the ball just running into our own teammates, I feel like, that's something that you don't see usually in the collegiate level or a major league level. But, it happens. It happens. But you have to – communication is key. And it just didn't work out today. And it showed from the turnovers.
Yeah, so going back, actually, I thought a good point you brought up was the goalkeeper. And a funny thing is, that's a big eye-opener for me. I thought, I see the pictures, I see the game, the stick, right? I'm thinking, oh, dude, how are you going to let a goal in? The goal's small, And then you look and you watch the game and you're like, shoot, these balls are humming, dude. It's actually really crazy because an average scoring game, they're going to hit double digits, right? That's
Right.
pretty common. And it's to me, someone who didn't watch lacrosse prior to coming here, I'm shocked. I'm like, dang, it's kind of crazy they're making some of those saves.
Yeah.
With as big of a stick as they have.
And
right?
talking about the goalies, like I said, David and Elkins' goalie, just a phenomenal game today.
Dominated.
Being the main reason that they didn't give up, and they got the win again against the Pioneers. And not only that, but advancing from 2 wins to 3 wins in conference play in the MEC. And if they didn't do that, then the Pioneers would have locked up a spot in the MEC tournament. And like I said, the difference was the goalies. And David and Elkins, when they were on the attack, just destroyed the Pioneers goalie. And go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I have to add this. It's every game that I've seen, they fall short, and it's not dang, I lost 24-1. It's 24-22,
Yep.
12-10,
Yep.
14-13, and it's as a coach, I've got if I'm in their boots, I've got to be extra conditioning. You guys got to work. It's coming down to the last thing. As a wrestler, right? You get to the third period or you get to overtime and you work all the way there. You want it as bad as anyone else, and when you fall short, typically it ends up landing on stamina. That's a
Right.
big aspect of this game, especially lacrosse. Besides the goalie, everyone is moving their feet the whole time.
I feel like David and Elkins' goalie was just moving with the ball. Just saw where the ball was, just put her body in front of it and just saved it. I think that was a key difference. Our goalie, at one point, there was a goal and it went right past her, and she didn't even react until after it was past her. So I think that's just, the body awareness and just awareness in general, just knowing where the ball is at all times and having the awareness to just swoop in. I think that's the key difference. And then I wouldn't be surprised if the Pioneers looked in the transfer portal and try to pick up a recruit from the transfer portal or just a recruit from high school. You never know. There's always going to be a freshman standout or just a standout in general on the team. And I feel like for us, it's Taylor Desco. And she is the heart and soul of this team. I feel like she's all over the field. Not just that, but Kylie Leisure. Kylie Leisure is one of the best attackers on our team, and it shows by the numbers. So what do you think about, just not just talking about the team, but just the options outside the team? What is your opinions on the transfer?
I think that's a great question. That's a lot of things. You think about that for many sports, right? You look at basketball, that's a team filled with transfers. Did it work? Some situations, yes. Some situations, no, for men's. But for this team, as a coach, I'm thinking the only way to establish dominance and really win is getting another captain, right? Even if that means I get a transfer who's a senior, but who has been playing varsity and playing the games and has the numbers, or a junior, or even a sophomore. It's just like having a true freshman. That's the year they learn everything, right? That's when they learn, like, okay, I messed up here. I got to fix that. Or I can't show that reaction. The ref's going to see that. And I think really the best example is baseball, right? You know, with the new transfer rule, it's going to be difficult. I have no clue how things will plan out or pan out, but I do know for a sport like baseball, we are big on the portal. You know, for especially like infielders and pitchers as well. I think it's really just leadership. Leadership is the biggest aspect, especially for a sport like soccer or lacrosse, where it's a field-based and you need a guy in the middle to control it. I mean, you mentioned Taylor. She does a great job with that stuff, but she can't be the only one, right? You need more. You need more upperclassmen, and you need more leaders on that field. Same with men.
Yeah, and talking about basketball, I mean, even though the season's not in, there's news still going around and boiling around the team. Just recently, Point Park announced a new head coach. I didn't even know that the head coach left. I think that's the craziest thing.
There was nothing.
There was nothing about our men's coach leaving, but at the same time, hiring a guy that's in the staff already. Honestly, I think it's a great idea. I think it's what teams are leading towards now. When talking about wrestling and having a wrestler on the podcast, Iowa State's legendary head coach just stepped down, and I was honestly shocked about that. But instead of going and paying a buck ton of money for a guy that's a rival or across the U.S., they just went with some of their guys from their own coaching staff already. Brent Metcalf, who was a national finalist for Iowa. It's kind of crazy that he's on Iowa State now, but just going instead of looking for a dude outside of your facility and just bringing in a guy that's already here and knows the program, I think it's working out, honestly. I think that's the new trend for finding a new head coach, and it's going to stay like that until something goes terribly wrong, I feel like. What are your thoughts on that?
And I think the point you're really forming a thought around, it's getting to a circle here, is chemistry, right? Mm-hmm. Chemistry is probably the biggest aspect. It's probably one of the most underrated things. Like, people don't talk about it. They talk about talent, skill, and numbers. And that's kind of what's been around today's world. But you look at the movie Moneyball, right? They didn't look for that. They looked for on-base percentage, and they looked for guys who got close as a team, right? And it's the same thing, really, with gathering people from the same area, right? Like, I know there's people on my baseball team, and I know there's also probably on lacrosse, I'm pretty sure, where they were prior teammates. Having chemistry like that and making those selections as a coach is huge. So like you said about the basketball coach, having a coach who's been in the program, right? It's going to help build the chemistry, and they also have trust. The basketball teams had several head coaches, right? And gathering trust from the players and having that already instead of having to assert it and gain it is already saving you so much time to succeed as a team, right?
Yeah, when you're talking about that, again, in the facility, Point Park's hiring coaches again, and it shows in the golf world. If I'm not mistaken, Coach Tom was a coach for basketball as well. So going from basketball to golf, I mean, honestly, it shocked me. But it showed that, the golfers can put trust in them, because it showed at the MEC tournament when one of our golfers, Milo winning freshman of the year in the MEC. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, golf, I think that's really important because, golf is an individual sport, but then you look at the coaching aspect of it and you have to trust them, right? They're taking a lot of the shots in practice for you. And if it's a bad coach, they could have you doing the completely wrong stuff and you could screw up in your next showing. But Milo's in one of my classes, and I remember the first thing he said, teacher was like, what is, the most important thing to you? What motivates you the most, right? And he was like, I would say myself, when I do bad and stuff like that. That stuff motivates me. And he said he wants to make the PGA, right? So seeing that success from the kid, going freshman to the, freshman for that tournament, winner, all of that, that's huge at a young age, especially with those goals that he's trying to succeed at. Now, you talk about coaches, right? And I could be mistaken, but I believe volleyball also made a transition, correct?
Volleyball also hired a coach a couple months ago, if I'm not mistaken. So, going off a rough season, a fresh start might just be what they need. Not being a team that was known for wins in the MEC or just as a team overall. I think it was a smart decision. It's hard to just fire a coach, but when you're not winning, something's got to change. And Point Park decided to change how to be the coach. So hopefully the volleyball team in the fall of 2026 can step it up. But talking about freshmen, having a wrestler on and not talking about the All-American that we had was pretty crazy. Liam Hine out of Mars, PA,
Yes.
being the first All-American in Point Park history, the first year of Point Park wrestling. Not just that, but Coach Zach Miser's first All-American of all, in his whole collegiate career of coaching. So I feel like just to end it off, just having to be able to say you're an All-American from Liam Hine's perspective, but not just that, but he's my roommate, and not trying to be biased.
I know that guy.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
is one of the hardest workers in this coach. Being to say he's an All-American, and the hard work pays off. Beating a kid in the blood rounds who was a senior his last year doing this, and he lost to a freshman. So just being able to have an eye out for Liam Hine in the next 3 to 4 years, not knowing if he's going to take a red shirt or not, but just being able to be like, this is a guy that we're going to have to watch out for. Even though it was club nationals and not Division II nationals, it's still
All-American either way.
It's still an All-American either way. And just to end it off, I want to thank everybody for watching. And hopefully, if you want to stay with us on this journey, you can follow us on YouTube and Instagram at To The Sports Pod. Thank you very much and have a good night.